been putting on a little Hellfire show there for the people here at the mansion tonight on a Saturday night.
Is it an open relationship here? You're here at the mansion with your hairy chest. What brings you along this evening?
Fun and games. Plate actually.
A plate?
Yes.
Now, to straighten your teeth.
Yes, that's
How
right.
long does that stay on?
It stays on for about 18 months.
It is hairy. I did notice. Gosh, you're such a handsome couple.
Oh, well, we work on it, you know.
Do you use the same bottle blonde?
Yeah.
We've been having fun, torturing real flesh, touching human bodies and really enjoying ourselves completely.
What's happening this evening here at the mansion? What brings you along to the mansion this evening?
Nothing, I just heard it's a good place to come to.
Encrusted in jewels.
I am. I fell in.
Have you got an oral fixation with my microphone there?
I do.
How long does it take for you to paint that face?
Oh, about 3 hours, generally.
You've found yourself in the mirror room at the mansion.
I have.
It's a bit daunting having all those mirrors.
It is a bit, and a bit confusing.
Actually, it is quite mixed tonight, and I think that we're getting more of a gay crowd as the night continues. Have you noticed?
You're wearing braces as well.
I am. Do I look okay?
Are braces in?
Braces are in. If you've got to spare $3,000, they're very in.
You all come back now, okay? Free champagne next. Well, it might not be completely free, but it'll be very cheap.
We make the holes in there before we place the slip, so the slip actually works its way through the body from the torso through to the arm, and it's creating a network between the two. So it's like pins, if you like. Slip is just a powdered form of clay, and then we add water to it to a slurry consistency. But this the slip that I'm using is called a deflocculated slip. So when we clean pools, we use a flocculant, which makes the particles sink to the bottom so we can vacuum it up. And a deflocculant is the opposite, suspends the particles. So you've got even coverage throughout the mould when you pour it. We'll add a little more slip.
How long did you train to do this kind of thing?
7 years. I've been working in the industry now 13 years, but 7 years I've been training. Childhood icons again was a separate 2 years worth of research because I had no expertise in this area at all. We first would take a mould, which is called your waste mould, and that first mould is thrown away. And that would be a mould of the boy he's sitting up here. Yeah. So that's the front of him. We'd lay him in a slab of clay and make sure we've centred his body all the way through, build the clay slab up, build walls around it, then pour the plaster over the top to have this impression here. Then we'd turn it up the other way to create the other impression, which is the back of the boy. So we then pour back into these, form them all up with timber, and we pour the production plaster into them. And this is not porous. Oh, well, it is a little porous, but it's very, very hard. So that's the back there, and we have the front of the boy on the couch. This is our master mould, and assuming that we've boarded it up, it's ready for plaster to be poured on top of it. So we just pour the plaster on top, and then we'd end up with this image when we open the mould. And that's your production mould that you pour back into. Right, we've got the production mould ready to go here, and this happens to be the girlie's leg on the couch. So I put a rubber band around it, which is actually the inner tube from tyres. Oh. So we'll just pour, into there. plaster is a porous property, and the slip is made of water, so it's actually drawing the moisture out from the clay, and we'll be left with the skin, and then we pour the excess out. Normally we'll have this on a trough and slap boards across there, and you'll have a whole series of them draining. This hat will be cut off, and we just snip that off there, like so. And we'll just take a little bit of the moist clay. Oh, that's not very moist. This is a little moister. And we'll create a plug to plug the top of the head. And we'll sit that in there like that. And we'll blend that in. Very quickly.
This is going to be an original, this piece.
It is. And then normally we wait probably about 15 minutes for that to firm up, and then we'll take a tool such as this and, you know, bring the hair back into line. But all of this would be then cleaned with your scalpel, and then the hands would be placed on afterwards. In one piece, and you can see that she's her breast here is dented in, and that's deliberately dented in because this little one will come between her and she'll sit there like that.
Their breasts are joined.
Their breasts are joined. And she has a lot of cleaning up in the cleavage there too. Yeah. It's a deliberate play. It's also based on the 1950 dolls of Bill Lilly, who originally formulated the Barbie doll, and Mattel purchased the idea from them in Germany. But also just, you know, just part of my childhood. And I've always enjoyed playing with dolls, and I thought it'd be nice to transform them into porcelain, and let's call it the Royal Dalton for the gay community, because we don't have one.
Which show have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing the breakfast show over Diversity and having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I think, as I said at the exchange a couple of nights ago, it's hard getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you have to get it down again at night time before you go to bed.
This is the second time Joy have broadcast from Commercial Road, so how did it go this year?
I think this year's been very, very successful. I think over the last year or so we've been building up our reputation, particularly over the Midsummer Carnival as well this year, and to come down to Commercial Road again this year, I think a lot more more people have been giving us support today. We've had a survey being filled out, and 150 have been done within of the first few hours of us being here. We're also inviting a couple of our fellow aspirant broadcasters on with us as well. We've got KISS coming on, and also Hits FM as well. So that's good. A little bit of community spirit there.
Bit of networking. Yeah. Now, what else is in store for Joy Melbourne? I know that there's another extended broadcast later in the year.
Yeah, well, what's happening is I think it starts on November the 10th, I should say. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's on November the 10th we come on for another month, and that's to wrap up World AIDS Awareness Week, World AIDS Day as well, and there'll also be the Rainbow Awards included in there too.
Any news on the licence?
There's been something passed through Parliament at the moment, and they're currently looking at what's happening in Melbourne. I think Hits and KISS, yes, that's right, have put together a proposal which would see those two sharing 89.9 frequency, which will be good. However, Joy's the only one who's on 90.7. Right. So if they look at us being on that one frequency and nobody else coming onto that frequency, then we could very well go full-time 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It would be bliss.
And I know you've had a lot of letters of support to that extent.
Oh, absolutely. They keep coming through. So if you're watching out there, make sure you keep those letters coming through. It's most important to us.
Your radio voice.
Yes.
You see, it just comes from nowhere. It's very special.
It's quite a funny thing. It was a nickname I picked up, years ago, early 80s, just a camp name. It sort of was, bang, cop this from your girlfriends, this was my name. Oh, modest woman, I really am. Oh, look, doll, so many of my clothes and my outfits came from a girlfriend of mine. You know her, you love her, you hate her, Rita the Cock-Eater. Wonderful queen on the treadmill, pushed costumes out left, right and centre. Saturday evening came, she said, here, queen, wear that. We were out and about. A lot I owe to Rita. It's very hard. I'm not right with any old song that comes along. I look at people who can stand back and every weekend they're spitting out something new, and I sort of think, oh, wonderful. I can't do it. I've got to know the song. I've got to feel happy about it. And it's always got to be up. It's got to be jolly. I'm not a dancer by any means. So I've got to do a number that I feel comfortable moving on stage with. Paris today I owe to my love of the 60s. 60s and late 50s fashion. I thought it was such a stylish camp look, lame jackets and fake fur and what have you, and it's sort of one step after the other. Zuzu and Cadillac days, and Gavin Brown hot cocoa and candy. One night grabbing your side, and I'll never forget Candy said, Queenie, you got something there, Queenie, you got it. But I'm sort of very busy with my work, myself during the day, Paris in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. So I don't think this Paris can really get a hold of the situation, because basically she can't find the time. The time's not there. So everything sort of just balances out. Lovely equilibrium. I think that's important. That sort of keeps me sane. PR plays such a big part on drag. Don't be scared to get out there and walk up and talk to a person. I think the majority of people in a nightclub or the bar scene love to be approached. You've got to let yourself be the approachable sort of a person. I think that's very important. I think if you're loved by a crowd, if you've got a look that people feel comfortable with and they enjoy you, you could basically step on stage in a Hessian bag and, do a Marcel Marceau number, and it's going to work, because if people know you, they're happy. Yeah, Paris is a friend, let's give her a clap. 10 years' time, look, wherever I am, I hope I'm still surrounded by fabulous people as I am today. Who knows? Future's a scary thing, but make the most of the present.
This is Sasha, and this one is Ollie.
Ollie, and what kind of snakes are they?
Ollie is an olive python, and they're both from far north Queensland, and Sasha's a Brisbane carpet python.
Do you have any other snakes?
Yeah, I've got one more smaller olive python at home.
Oh, right.
So, right. Yeah, that's his little girlfriend, so she didn't come today.
She stayed home.
Yeah, she didn't like the weather much.
Didn't want to drag up.
No.
You have a snake around your neck as well, Vendetta.
Yes, I do.
A snake of a different type.
Well, it's actually colour coordinated, Miss Kaye.
Oh, yeah, I've got a friend who's got one, and he brings it over.
A snake?
Yeah, brings it over occasionally, and I suggest he stay at the other side of the room. It's funny because he gets frozen mice from a pet shop, and they're all frozen mice, and then he thaws them out in the microwave and then throws them in to eat.
Oh, how camp. In a microwave. Only a queen. Fast food for his pet snake.
So how have you enjoyed it so far despite the weather?
Oh, it's very good. Very good. Lots of lovely people here.
Is this a local haunt for you?
Yes, it is.
So you live around here?
St Kilda East.
You're here at Diversity. Are you a regular to Commercial Road?
No, I'm not. I live the other side.
North side of the river?
Yes, Northcote.
Do you ever come to any of the venues this side of town?
No, because I live in Carlton, so I normally go to Brunswick Street, the city, and so forth.
How's your day going?
Wet, wet, wet,
yeah,
and heaven.
It's very wet and very watery, but we're still having a lovely time, and that's the main thing.
I mean, the weather's drab, but the spirits are up high.
You're doing the Madonna look here.
I wouldn't go that far. I haven't got the pointy tits, and my legs aren't that good.
But you've got the headgear.
Thank you.
Business is up even though it's a little bit wet.
It hasn't affected it at all. Doesn't seem to have affected anything.
Because in Commercial Road they party on anyway.
I'm biased on that. I can't comment on that.
Did you come last year?
No, I didn't come last year.
First time.
Yes, I'm a virgin to diversity.
Seems to be kicking on.
Yeah, there could be a few more things to do.
Yeah, is this your first diversity?
No, second. We were here last year as well.
You were involved with the beauty pageant.
Yeah, yes, I was Miss Dome.
And how did it go?
Oh, well, I was the first on. I was supposed to be the last, and I was having a smoko, and they dragged me on stage. But I gave the whole audience a bunch of balloons and released them up through the air in loving memory of all the colourful people that couldn't be here.
How lovely to meet you, Miss Candy.
Yeah, what a great day.
Yeah,
Isn't it just fabulous?
The sun has blessed us again with its presence here in Commercial Road.
We're having a fabulous day of diversity.
Yeah, look, nothing dampens our spirits here in Commercial Road.
No.
Not if we're drinking them.
Rain, hail or shine, we'll be here.
Who cares? Who cares about the weather? Just party.
So all I can say is next year I want the umbrella concession.
What's the plan for you for the remainder of the day?
Sitting at a bar, getting well and truly trashed.
Try your Australian crawl, I suppose, down the street. That might work. I just caught a glimpse of your midriff there and it threw me. I lost my train of thought. We're here in Hares and Hyenas with Mr. Ian Roberts, who's been signing his book. Hello, Ian.
Oh, I didn't realise you were so tall.
Well, I was just going to say the same of you because you're sitting down at the moment.
Yes, yes.
Now, of course, you've been invited down and crowned King of Diversity. How does that feel?
Fantastic. I actually, obviously there's a bit of a punt there. I thought I'd be the Queen. Yeah, but that's cool. Queen being crowned King, that's quite cool too.
Is this a copy here? Just because we want to show our viewers finding out. Can you hold that? When did you write this book?
Paul and I started on this about 2 years ago, and it was released, I think, about 4 months ago.
Okay. So how did that work? You had extensive conversations on tape, and he transposed?
Paul's a very good friend of mine. I've known Paul for about 15 years, and to be honest, I probably couldn't have done the book with anyone else because we spoke about some very personal details. Yeah, he interviewed me over a period of about 6 months, and then off and on again for about another 6 months after that.
Well, I know that this book has been a source of inspiration to a number of people, and I've spoken to them, so I wish you the best of luck with it. I hope you have a good stay in Melbourne. We've really turned out some nice weather for you here.
Thank you for your well wishes. Yeah, it's a bit different to Townsville, where I'm from.
Now, what is it that you play again? It's netball or basketball?
I'm goal attack, yes. I'm in a little skirt. I look great in a frilly frock.